Look, the NSA there's not one documented case that we found of real abuse. There were some people who did, individual staffers who were punished for sneaking a look at one account or something, but nothing systematic, nothing serious in terms of abuse of that authority. Meanwhile, one of the things that was in the bill would have allowed Google, for example, and private collectors of data to keep that metadata.
Well, I don't know about you. They own the data, so they keep your data all the time.
But I don't feel
I'm not too. Google's not going to put me in jail. The whole internet is based on information. I'm not against information, and I give up privacy all the time, but I give it up voluntarily. Google and Facebook are not putting me in jail or going to put me in jail. So I guess I object to saying Google and the government are somehow the same. They're completely and entirely different.
Would you support a significant increase from current levels in the defense budget and do away with the defense sequester?
I absolutely support the concept of peace through strength. I think that the most important thing that the federal government does or spends money on is national defense. It's the one thing you can't let your state governments rely on your state governments. You can't rely on individuals or corporations to defend your country. You have to have a national defense. So when I look at priorities or say, what is the federal government authorized to do? National defense is the #1 priority. And if I'm looking at dollars spent, I will always say a priority. Specifically with regard to the sequester, the last 5-year budget that we produced, and we've produced 5-year budgets continuously since I've come here that balance in 5 years. We have a 5-year budget that balances in 5 years, eliminates the military sequester, and spends money above the military sequester, but we do eliminate 5 departments of government. And so you can, if you want a strong defense, fine, but if you want a strong defense and you're going to run up an $18 trillion deficit, then I think you make the country weaker. So I'm for peace through strength, absolutely. I'll spend more money. I'll spend as much as I can get out of Congress if I were president. However, I won't do it and run up another $10 trillion in deficit. So it has to be done by cutting other parts of government.
So you're saying that if practically speaking, you can't politically succeed in cutting 5 departments of government, which has not succeeded during my lifetime, you would not be in favor of an increase in
No, I think that twists my words, because actually I am in favor of being for a strong national defense. I'm for spending whatever it takes to defend our country.
I'm not trying to twist your words, but guns or butter, I understand that choice.
No, I think it's a mistake to immediately acknowledge that you're going to admit defeat on cutting and reining and spending. And here's the point, and this is the reason you can't. There are people on our side, and I think they're absolutely wrong. There are conservatives who are, I'll spend anything and I don't care if it bankrupts the world. I'll spend trillions of dollars. We've got to have it. That's wrong, because you will be a weaker country and you will be more vulnerable. And I truly believe that the #1 threat to our national security is our debt. We have an overwhelming debt. We're borrowing $1 million a minute. And what does separate me from some conservatives is I am not all in everything no matter what. I'm saying we spend what we can from what comes in. We topple Hussein, Iraq is a huge mess, and I think will be a huge mess for the time foreseeable. But a year ago, many on the side of intervention wanted to bomb Assad. If we had, and I opposed bombing Assad, and we didn't do it, but had we bombed Assad a year ago, who do you think would be in Damascus now? ISIS. Without question, ISIS has become stronger because of her involvement in the Syrian civil war. So my argument, which is different, and I will admit to be different than other Republicans and Democrats, is that intervention has unintended consequences and that we have to be careful and think about what we're doing before we do it.
Of course, we stayed out of the Syrian civil war, but I want to open this up.
Well, actually, we didn't. We and our allies gave 600 tons of weapons. Qatar and our other allies, United Arab Emirates and the Saudis and us together put 600 tons of weapons into Syria. Most of it wound up in the wrong hands, and I think we're worse off for it.
Of course, we stayed out of the Syrian civil war, but I want to open this up.
Actually, we didn't. We and our allies gave 600